Do your ex's feelings fade during no contact? This is a question that was recently asked to me by one of my clients in a private coaching session. And I know that so many people have this fear and this question. And so it felt appropriate to discuss it here with you today. If you're listening to us on our podcast, welcome. If you're tuned in on YouTube, on Love Advice TV, thank you for your trust. This is definitely one of the most common questions that we get asked during coaching sessions. And the reality is that so many of you are afraid that during your period of no contact, or if you start to pull away, to give your ex space, that they are somehow going to stop loving you, that they're going to forget about you, that they're going to fall in love with someone else. And so you are afraid of going an extended period of time without reaching out to them. Because you feel like also that somehow you are more connected to them, to the old relationship, if you are talking. And this is a very, very common fear. It is linked to this fear of losing them. It is linked to the anxiety and to the distress that you face after a breakup. And the reality is that your ex's feelings do not usually fade during no contact. Of course, I cannot talk in terms of absolutes, but in the overwhelming majority of cases, there is no correlation between an ex losing feelings and you going into no contact or not reaching out to your ex for an extended period of time. I will go even further and say that there is no correlation between you talking to an ex and ensuring that they still have feelings for you after a breakup or separation, or if you're going through a divorce process. The reality is that most of the time, you are still very emotional. You're reaching out to them from a place of weakness or desperation. And so you are way more likely to make a mistake and to push them away rather than to rebuild a healthy communication, to inspire them, to attract them. And that's why it is very important for you to consider going into a period where you're focusing on you, or you're pulling away, rather than on trying to cut corners and to communicate with them too quickly because you're trying to rebuild a failed relationship. If you're asking yourself this question, it really clearly means that you are still in this process of trying to bounce back. You're still in this process of despair and desperation. And it is essential for that reason that you focus more on your process of personal transformation rather than on trying to put a communication strategy in place to make your ex feel connected to you again. And your ex's ability to feel connected to you, to feel that they still care about you, is greatly linked to your ability to not make mistakes and to reinvent yourself. And that's why taking some time to focus on being that version of yourself that they fell in love with, being that version of yourself or creating an identity without your significant other, is foundational and necessary when it comes to the process of building a new and improved relationship. Again, we're not trying to go back to the previous relationship because your ex said no to that. It didn't work for them. They were not fulfilled in that dynamic. And so it is essential for us to have some sort of break in order for something new to emerge, in order to create a new dynamic. And you need to have faith in what you bring to the table. And you need to have faith in your ability to inspire your ex again, even if they were to date someone else, or even if their feelings were to fade. Because ultimately, If they fell for you once, you better believe that if you are able to grow and to offer something new and to surprise them, show them that you're not that person that they broke up with, then you have a very, very good chance of inspiring them again, and for them to start to realize that they have feelings for you again. Early on, at the time of a breakup, it's quite common for an ex to feel like they're free. There's this blank canvas that we often refer to in our videos that we talk about in our coaching sessions. And so initially, yes, your ex may be happier not to hear from you, especially if there was a lot of drama, especially if you were not able to respect their boundaries, especially if you overwhelmed them. However, as no contact starts to settle in, as you start to be able to be happy again without them, to smile again, and to create that new identity without them, something funny happens. You become a challenge again. They actually realize that they've lost you. They understand the consequences of their decision. And so the balance of power is reset. And as such, it becomes possible to create a new dynamic. So your ex's feelings do not fade over time during no contact. Actually, they start to realize what they've lost. They start to focus on the positive elements of the relationship. And they start to focus on your quality traits and attributes, even if they have not reached out to you. Because there's quite often there's a correlation between people feeling like their ex is not reaching out, and so their feelings are fading. But it's not true. Many times, an ex is afraid to reach out because they're afraid of your reaction. They're afraid that they're going to lose their independence or that you're going to come back like gangbusters trying to convince them to take you back. A lot of times, exes think about you. I know from experience, having coached thousands of people in your situation, but they don't feel comfortable reaching out first. And other times, I have seen exes reach out, even though they are not trying to rebuild a new relationship. Perhaps it's for their ego. They're seeking validation. They feel lonely. They want reassurance. Or perhaps they just want something practical from you. And so if you're not ready to engage, you can be sure that those contacts and that interaction will actually lead to a setback, which then becomes more likely that your interactions with them causes them to lose feelings, or at least to lose this desire to potentially rebuild something new with you. So mindset is key, and understanding how to approach this period of no contact is key. And that is why I invite you, if you have not already done so, to check out our free training materials on the topic of no contact and radio silence, so that you understand the philosophy and the approach and the mindset, and that you discover practical tools that you can implement right away today to help you make the most of this wonderful and unique period. And this free training is accessible in the description of the video if you're watching this on Love Advice TV on YouTube. And if you're listening to this on our podcast, I highly encourage you to go check it out as well. We have different types of free trainings that we offer to support you. Some of them come in the form of live events that we do every month on a specific topic linked to repairing or broken relationships. Others come in the form of secret hidden videos for members of our community. And we also have PDF style documents because we understand that people process information in different ways. Ultimately, all of this material is done to help you, to support you, to bounce back from this crisis, to rise from the ashes in order to turn this most challenging situation and life event into a positive, uplifting, transformative experience that will surely strengthen your ability to be in healthy relationships moving forward. And in the process, also help you maximize your chances of being with this person that you love, no matter what mistakes occurred at the time of the breakup or during the relationship. I encourage you to focus always, always, to focus on what you can control. Whether your ex's feelings fade during no contact or not, in some ways, is outside of the scope of what I want you to focus on. Because if you do, then you start to seek their validation, their reassurance. You're chasing the 8-ball. You're reacting to potentially what they may be going through. And so we are not following our roadmap, the plan that you have created in a moment of clarity, when not driven by fear or anxiety or desperation. And so, in essence, you're coming in your own way. You are less likely to reach the goal that you've set for yourself. I am really, really humbled and so happy to be able to be on your journey, to play however a small, humble part I may be able to play to support you at this critical moment in your life, to give you hope, to give you concrete tools, tips, and a vision for what is possible and how to get there. And so thank you for your support. Thank you for your trust. As always, please give us some feedback. Leave us your comments. Tell us how we can continue to support you so that we can continue to help you on your journey. My name is Coach Adrian. You are fighting the good fight, and I look forward to share more insights with you on our podcast, in our videos, in the near future. Take good care.